good stuff. When I'm moving so far forward, I'm so off balance that none of that is happening. Or if it is happening, it's not happening. So, we're going to see how many of these people would, as youngsters, typically cheat in their drills. Okay, so coaches, you're observing the same principle. You're observing what they do with their balance, how they maintain balance. But this time what I want you to focus on is what we finished focusing on last, compare two people again, see what they're doing with stability. You guys ready?
Running or walking drill?
It's a jogging drill, nice and steady through. Okay. If you want to run, I can see some competitiveness already. It's brilliant. You never lose it when you get older. You know?
High knee drills could be walking drills.
Yeah, it's literally like this. But pretend you're kids if you want to. Only to do the drill, don't get carried away and start throwing your toys out the front and stuff like that. Okay, we ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Stop. Okay. Ready, go. Stop. What I want you to try and do is stop with a high knee position. So you're all cheating, which is clever. Okay, when you're ready, go. Stop. Okay, come back again. We're going to do another observation of that. So every time you finish, you should finish with either a high knee with your left foot or your right knee or left knee. So you should finish in this position. Again. So this. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I would go back to one point where we're talking about distance and positioning and direction. You're seeing a lot from the side. Is that the best place to be always? I'm just merely making a statement. Watching, dropping hints. Ready? Off you go. And stop. Okay, ready? Off you go. And stop. Ready? Off you go. And stop. Well done, okay. Okay, so using the same principles, we're looking at basic support, where we'll position in the centre. What did we notice happen? Hips are low, okay? Now this is typically what kids will do in this particular one. Do we want hips to be low in a running drill? No, okay, so we're going to now add that in as a challenge to say when you stop, you can't stop like this. Because the human body's clever. We're clever. We're going to cheat as much as we can to stay stable. Okay, so this time you have to keep nice and tall with your posture. That's one thing. Anything else that the coaches picked out that they observed that you can give as a coaching point to head up? Head up. Toes to shin. What people were. Yeah. Okay, very simple one, which is probably more coordination up to arm to the Brilliant. Okay, so 2 people picked up your foot positioning. Where's your base of support? What is your base of support as an athlete in this particular drill? Your foot. Very simply. So whatever your foot's doing is determining what the rest of your body's doing. Because that's your base of support. So let's give them one thing to focus on. They have to keep their hips tall. That's a requirement by me. What's the key thing you want these individuals to focus on? And you might give different people different tips. That's what I want to think about now. So I'm going to get them to do drill one more time. I'm going to ask 2 coaches here to observe. One coach, 2 coaches here, next coach. John in the middle, you're confusing me. 2 coaches here, next person, 2 coaches here, next person. You 2 can observe the last one until the end. Okay, so you've got individuals to observe. Give them 1 point that they can help maintain balance in this drill. Okay, we ready? Off you go. And stop. Ready, off you go. And stop. And ready, off you go. And stop. Now think about these principles when you look at running, looking at drills. How many kids do you know go quickly through their drills and don't ever execute correctly? And what we're saying is like, it's rhythm, and the only way you can get rhythm is unstable movements, you're going to ingrain bad technique. So go back to basics, make sure that one, they're stable, which will allow them to build effective coordination, rhythmic movements, and different things. Unstable is going to be an issue.
Well, going back to this morning, what you said about the 10,000 hours, what can you say? 45 minutes is wasted on warm up. So your minus of your 10,000 hours, half an hour every day. How long should you be giving the space of training into the drill?
Yeah, I think the thing what Wolfgang was trying to get across this morning was that actually people were doing activities where it wasn't really effective. So when you're doing like a couple of laps, stop and do static stretching, you're basically letting the body stay very low, getting cold and stretch muscles, and it's irrelevant. And for kids, it's not fun. Now, what he would say, for working with other people, and what I would certainly endorse, is more active formats where you go for range of movement stuff, but don't ever get technical drills and range of movement, dynamic warm-ups confused. I think most people are just absorbing together and get people to actively warm up, but don't ever focus on that.
Well, how should you spend this?
On an active warm-up, I would say
Like this,
10 15 minutes. On drills, it's a case of actually getting them to do it right. I'd say get them to go 2 or 3 times through it, but 2 or 3 times through it. Okay. The one thing I see is kids do it lots and lots and lots and lots of times. And it goes back to that quality. Quality, not quantity. Keep them doing loads and loads and loads. That's why I have the biggest thing about that.
Like we are here, how do you, when you're telling them that it's not being done properly the right way, first time, second time, third time, you get this choppy, emotional, how would you go with that?
If I say,
I've said
you're not doing that right, do it like this, what's that individual think? I'm not doing it right. Do they even listen to the bit where you say do it like this?
I can't. Can't.
Okay, so you set them a challenge, which is real.
That's what I said. That's the
Actually,
bad
if all you do is you say to them, right, actually the best way to do this drill is in balance. So what do I need to focus on in balance? What can you do to get balance? And they go away and explore. I think what we do too much with kids is we tell them lots and lots of stuff. Yeah, we start to tell them lots of negative stuff. And actually the brain is very bad at picking up negative and positive stuff. And if the first thing I say is negative, so if I said to you guys, oh, that was pretty bad coaching, the first thing you would think of, is he thinking we're pretty bad coaches? I might have followed that up with, but that bit was brilliant. You wouldn't even acknowledge the bit where I said that bit was good. So you've got to think about how you structure your feedback, and that's that intervention cycle part that we get to where we start to give feedback and say, actually, that was really good. Don't use the word but. I hate the word but. That was really good. Next time, focus on that. That's your challenge next time. And actually make sure the challenge isn't ridiculously hard. So if I give you a challenge which is so far advanced, so let me give you a challenge which is so far advanced. For some of you, that you're gonna, this will annoy you, but it might make you go away and practice it. So we're good in the thumb and finger thing. So everybody stand with their thumb up and your finger out. So left hand, your thumb up, and finger in. Right hand, finger out, thumb down. Everybody ready for this? Okay, that's the starting point. And all you're going to do, I'll just go through it slowly, is bring your finger in and thumb up, thumb down, finger out. But you're just going to do that as quick as you can. Okay? Now, like when we do this in like theory workshops, you go back to it 15 minutes later and you're going for a slide and thinking, very quiet, and you look back and they're all like,
what's your fun? I don't think you're 3 o'clock tonight. I can't do it.
okay, now an intervention, this is a challenge. So how can we make this easier then? Think about the drills that you're doing, everything you do when you coach. Break it down, okay? So I started off by saying this, and then you bring this in and that up. And then you do the reverse, you bring this down and that out. That's how I started it. Now actually, if a kid can't do that, why am I making them do it on the other hand? If they can't do thumbs up, fingers out, fingers in, thumbs up, why am I now making them do it the opposite side of the body? Sometimes the challenge is just too far. And there is a point where you stretch kids so far out of their comfort zone that what do? They shut down. You know, typically, if we're not very... I told you it's going to bug some of you. Typically what we see in sports and some of the experience we had, we go to one sport, we sort of don't quite get it with that sport, we don't quite enjoy it, so what do? We go on to another sport. And we're sporty people, so we just keep on going around lots of different sports. And at an age, we just go, right, actually, I've had enough of doing this sport, I'll go to a different sport. What are the kids who really struggle with every sport because nobody goes back and says, well, actually, the reason why you aren't doing the drill is because you're off balance. The reason why you aren't doing the drill is because it's too complex, let's make it a bit easier for you. They're most likely to leave the sport earlier. They're most likely to get to 15, 16 and go, no more PE? Brilliant, okay, I'm not doing any physical stuff. Okay, so fundamentally, we've got to challenge as coaches to make things simpler, go back to basics, help them with their stability, help them with their coordination, help them break down the skills, make it easier, slow down the skill. And one of my suggestions would be, if you can't run a drill through, I think somebody mentioned it earlier on, you actually walk the drill through and actually do it correctly. Because actually, if I can't walk with posture here, why am I getting them to run it through?
It's a different skill as well.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a different skill. It's different in balance, different in momentum, different in coordination because it's slower and it's more controlled. Okay, so looking at your cycles, and I'm quite passionate about these cycles.
You know when you just done your landing feet?
Yeah.
Is it flat?
In sprinting, it should be claw back, but if you try and do that, at the moment I've got like a chunk missing out the bone of my leg, so I can't do too much activity stuff. So that's why I'm not doing too much running around. But actually, in sprinting mechanics, if you're looking at it, you actually land with almost a flat foot. And if you slow down any footage from the World Champs in Berlin, you will think that Mr. Bolt is landing with almost a flat foot. But like they use the term of a credit card, so you could probably slide a credit card underneath his foot. It's that close. Because if my foot is almost all on the ground, what have I got a bigger base of support? Okay. Now, when we look at applying force, the bigger the base of support, the more force we can apply. If I run around on my toes, guess how much force I get back from the ground? I get this much back from the ground. How much do I get back from the ground? As much as I put in. So anybody who knows Newton's law of physics, if I put a force down, I get force back. The more force I put down, the more force I get back. Okay, so that's another reason for having a stable base. Okay, we're going to move on to coordination now. Exercise. Coordinating the body parts to maximise movement efficiency and force application. So what it means is, actually, we talked about triple extension. So if I actually learn to extend through ankles, knees and hips, then that makes it more effective for me to generate force from the ground. If I throw as a little kid does, up to a little kid for a tennis ball, okay, I'm generating this much force from my elbow and potentially my wrist. If I do it like a mature adult throw, what do I tend to do? Bring my shoulder right back, and I step into it like this, and I put it through from here. Okay, and what I do first is, I go